This how-to video is to explain you how to build a script in Excel that will fill the Excel file with values coming from the API of OPEX. In this example, we will feed in the first column and the second column a list of applications. In the first column, we'll have the absolute identifier of the application. In the second column, we will have the name of the application. For that, we will write a script that will make a call to the API, get the list of applications, and feed the Excel file. So to create a script, we'll go in the tab Developer and click on the Visual Basic button. In Excel, it is not easy to manage a JSON file or to make HTTP requests. To save some time, I recommend you to use existing frameworks available on the internet that actually ease this particular piece. These elements are described in the attached text to this video. I have here already used this JSON converter and web helpers module and created a module called OPEX. At the top of my script, I did put here all the information I will need to query my API. The URL of the endpoint I want to query, ITPM, the URL of the US to get a token, and all the credentials I need to be able to connect to OPEX. So first, I need to get a bearer authentication token. So for that, I will make a script that will actually make a request to the API. So leveraging the component of web helper, I can simply create an object, web client, web request, and web response, define that it is an HTTP post type of request, that it was going to be an URL encoded, define the body, like you may have seen in some of the video about Postman, where the body you had to put some of the information. All of this information are variables that come from the top of my script, and execute my query. If the result is correct, I'm going to parse the result as a JSON and access the access token to get the bearer for the next call to the API. If ever I get an error, I will simply expose an MSG bug with the error status. This script is not here to be a best practice in terms of VB script, just to give you a starting point to be able to build your own script and manage more carefully the errors that may come from the API. Now that I have a bearer, I am able to actually make a call to the API to get the value of the data. So for that, I will make a script that will actually make a call to the API, a web client, web request, web response, send a URL to the basically API, the HTTP and so on, define the parameter of the header, the OPEX context with the environment ID, repository ID, the bearer that I just took from the previous request, and the GraphQL query in the body. Finally, I will execute this and get a result. And I will parse this result as a JSON. So how do I use this particular script? What I do here, I created a main function that is actually getting the bearer. I'm writing here the query that I want to execute, get application ID, and I'm executing my request with my bearer, with my queries on the given URL that I have. And finally, I'm now writing into the Excel sheet. Writing in an Excel sheet is pretty easy. Just open the workbook and the worksheet that you want to write, and then parse the JSON result that comes from the response. With the add-on that allows you to manage JSON, you can simply call the data, the application, and the name and ID of the application. Simply make a loop on the JSON and get the name and ID. And I can now execute my script, the main function, and I will have my Excel being fed with the information. You can get access to this sample file on the Mega community and also on the GitHub of Mega International in the sample folder for the GraphQL REST API. Thank you for your attention.